Okay, guys, awesome. All right, so make sure everybody is muted out. Please do not unmute until we say that you can at the end. We'll open it up if we have some time. But all right, guys, so I'm so excited for this tonight. I'm so excited for you guys to get to be on here. So this was invite only. We did this special Zoom invite only. So the entire team is not on here. The entire team was not invited. This was our runners. This was our people who, are serious about their business. Maybe I know I have a girl on here who just started in the past week, and she's just motivated and excited. So I opened this up to the leaders, and the leaders chose you each individually to be on here, which is amazing and so exciting. And you guys, I'm really excited for you to hear from our guest tonight. Some of you have maybe heard her speak. Some of you have not. If you don't know who she is, then you've been hiding under a rock and we should chat. But her dad owns the company. Her dad is the CEO, Mark Pentecost. She is, one of the main faces of the company, but she wasn't always in a corporate role. And so I really value having people at corporate that have been in the field, because someone at corporate who has never built in the field, they don't understand 100% the way things are in the field, and they can't relate to us the same way as they can if they've built in the field. And so Cammie's story is so amazing and so unique that, you guys, her dad owns a company, and it took her, I think she said 6 months to even sign her first distributor. And I think she quit a few times, and she didn't have this easy start. Her dad fed her leads and helped her build her business. That's not how, you guys know that through the way Mark is with the teams. That's not how he does things. And so she built a business from the bottom and became a black diamond. I think she was, in fact, the first black diamond. So she paved the way for all of us. And, she is a mom. She has gone through different struggles as a mom. And, I was talking to her today, and we have very similar stories with health things. And so she has truly seen and done and been through it all. And so her story is amazing. She's so motivating. I'm so honored to call her a friend, and I can't wait for you guys all to hear from her tonight. So Cammie, come on here. We cannot wait to hear from you.
Super excited. If I would have spent a lot of time thinking about it, I would have realized who I was going to get to hang out with tonight. But now that I'm here and who I get to see, that I get to spend time with, by the way, Tracy, I saw you on the call earlier, and now he's back on this call. I love it. Thank you for putting this together, Brandy. And we were talking earlier, because it is so cool that there is no business category, family category, church category. It's all one, right? It all just kind of meshes together. And so I'm excited that we get to do business together, but we also get to do, the personal stuff together too. And that just makes this a whole lot more fun. So how did they, remind me how exactly they earned it on here? I know they didn't just get to be on here because they're on the team. They've got to be doing a certain amount of production. Did they do something in the last week, Brandy?
So we didn't set any production goals. I reached out to our leaders, and I just told the leaders what we were doing. And I told them to each hand pick a handful of people that were either top producers, or that were running really hard, or that had goals that they were trying really hard to achieve. And I said, you could open it up to some new people on your team that are showing that something extra. So like I said, I have a new girl, Danny, on here, who just joined, and she's on every call. She never misses anything. She works, 12-hour shifts with her kids, and she's doing this on the side. So I was like, girl, you have to be on this call.
Well, I'm definitely somebody that can show you how to juggle family life and work life. And I see we have some guys on here, which I'm super glad about, because I think this speaks to all of us. I don't think there's work life and then there's family life or anything else. I think it's all kind of blends together. And it's funny, I'm actually being highlighted on a TV show tomorrow about work-life balance. And I just don't love the word balance, Brandy, because I don't think it's so much about balance as it is integration. You know, how do we integrate it all? And how do we prioritize and juggle all the things that we're carrying? So, you know, for me, for a long time, you guys, I have 3 kids. I have this business, now a single mom. Like, there's just not a lot of extra time. So some of the things that I don't get to do are some of the, you know, extras that maybe a single person might get to do, or a couple with no kids might get to do, you know, like but I made those choices. And today I was listening to a podcast with Dave Ramsey, and he said, you, if you're willing to pay the price, you can have anything you want. And I was like, I love that, because as a woman, I have felt like I cannot have family, you know, a great family and a career. I felt like I had to choose one or the other. And I believe It Works has proved differently that I can do both. And it doesn't mean I can do both, also work out 7 days a week, you know, like there's definitely sacrifices that are making. And I love this book I was reading by Shelley Archambault, and she calls them trade-offs. She says, what trade-offs are you willing to make to reach your goals? And so for me, the trade-offs have looked like, you know, if it doesn't have to do with my kids or my business, then I'm not doing it. And, you know, I do take a Sabbath. That is something, if I was going back again to day one, I would probably be much more conscious of a Sabbath. Now, again, I don't say it legalistically. I say it as a gift so that you don't fall apart, right? Like, how good are you for everybody else if you fall apart? But I say that from a space of just really being able to get after it and just feel full. So, you know, one of the goals I had for myself when I moved down to Florida, Brandy, was to play tennis or golf. I've done neither. And you guys are like, why are you telling me that? Because my priorities are still It Works and my 3 children. And so there will be a day when my children are in the most busy stage of life, I'm sure, where that might make sense. I am working out. I'm working out 4 or 5 times a week. I am taking a Sabbath every Sunday. And on that Sabbath, I'm like this. I'm literally like resting, binging on Netflix, watching a sermon, like snuggling with a kid. Like, it really is a Sabbath, and I look forward to it every week. And some Sabbaths I feel really motivated, and I'm like reading books and you know, like laying out by the pool. Maybe I'll go for a little walk, jog, or a bike ride with the kids, but it's really fueling my soul. Why am I telling you guys all this? Because I think we think that we are way out of whack. Guys, life is messy. It's messy. And then you go throw a business like this in there and you're really chasing after. And I wonder how many of you have a full-time job or a part-time job on the side in the midst of all that. You know, like, for you to think that this isn't going to be hard, that it's not going to feel messy or chaotic, that's not true. That's not reality. And so, you know, it's like embracing the chaos. I'm sure you've heard that before. It's like, how can I embrace the chaos? Brandy, can you tell me real quick? I've got somebody blowing me up. What is the code that Save Now? Is that the pick 2, pick 3, Save Now?
Yep.
You guys are not very patient.
No, we're not.
But it's okay. That's okay. I wore my More shirt tonight for a reason, you guys. I wore my More shirt because someone asked me once, and it messed with me. They said, when's enough going to be enough? And I was like, I was really upset. Like, it rocked me for a little bit. And I called my mom. And if you guys don't know my mom is like super chill. She's like, you know, if it weren't for Mark being the dreamer and the go-getter, like, this would not be our life. I'd be fine in the house we first lived in when we first got married. She's just this very laid back, prayerful, wonderful woman. I don't know any other way to say it, but she's also one of my mentors in faith, big time, you know? And so I called her and I was just like, Mom, this is tearing me up. Like, am I being greedy? You know, all the things that just come along with feeling like, oh, the criticism, right? The criticism of when's enough going to be enough. And I've read in books where it says, if you're not getting criticized, then you're not doing something right. So I knew that in my head, right? But my heart was like, oh, I'm setting a poor example, blah, blah, blah. My mom within 2 seconds was like, Cammie, When is enough going to be enough? When every mother that wants to be home with her kids gets to be home with her kids. When every woman or man grocery shopping doesn't have to count dollar to the penny of what they're putting on the, you know, the little track there to check out with, because they're not worried about not being able to pay those bills. When anyone who wants, like when there's like the kids getting handed out at concerts and they're like, pick up the kid, and, you know, till every kid has been picked up. And she's like, Cami, people need good people with money so that, number one, people with money know Jesus, but number two, that we can lead more people to do the right thing. So, you know, I just want you guys to know my word is more. Like, I want more. I want to change more lives. I want to help more people. I want to help people have better health. Like, it's just more. And recently I decided to be unapologetic about that. Like, what's wrong with us wanting more? Nothing. And people that don't understand it, it's not our job to help them understand it. It's our job to go out and do what we were called to do. And so, you know, I know that some of you are just on this journey. You know what? I saw Dr. Vivian on here, Coach Vivian earlier, not Dr. I'm sorry, Coach Vivian. Do you guys know for a week straight, Vivian's been texting me almost every single day, telling me her production as accountability of what she's been doing to really put herself out there and hold herself accountable with her business. Like, that makes my heart so happy. I see you, Jared Wilkins, jumping on here. You know, Vivian, nothing makes my heart more happy than someone drawing the line in the sand and committing and being willing to pay the price for what they want. And you guys, make no mistake, if we try to give you a picture that this is just going to be like, oh, you're on your phone anyways, like, wear the cute t-shirt and people are just going to flock to you. Like, don't get me wrong. I was at a track meet today and I had a mother like basically jump out of her seat at me because I was wearing my Skinny Brew t-shirt. And she's like, how do I get that t-shirt? Better yet, is there such a thing as skinny coffee? And I was like, actually, I can help you with both. But all that to say, like, it's not easy. It will require paying a price to get where you want to go, but it'll be the best thing that you have ever put yourself in position to earn. I can tell you that. And I can also tell you this, if you're constantly looking for reasons why this won't work for you, then it's not going to work for you. I don't have time for that. This does work. It is working every single day. And I promise you that obedience in the same direction, day in, day out. Vivian, that's why when you called me today and you said, this is what I've done and things are moving. And I was like, and that's only a week of consistency. Can you imagine 2, 3, 4? I hope she's listening. Her camera's off, but I'm giving her all the love right now because I'm just so proud of her. You know, like, she's doing the things and it's not easy, you guys. Putting yourself out there on social media, it's not easy. You know, reaching out to somebody and asking them to try the products or to do the business or to get on a prospecting call. That's not easy. But you know what? It will be worth it. And even if you don't understand that now, could you just like pretend like you recorded that and put that in the back of your head that like, Cami said it's going to be worth it. Cami said it's going to be worth it. Just one more day, one more time. I didn't come this far to only come this far. Like, I can have anything I want if I'm willing to pay the price. These are the things that I want you speaking, you know, over yourself, to yourself, so your ears can hear it, so that you remain persistent. This will never be easy, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it. And, you know, it was funny. I played a video tonight. It was actually Jared's video. And Jared just said he came to this company, didn't see a lot of people that looked like him. And he realized I must have been invited here to be that person. That will never be an easy road. Never. Guys, when I came to this company, I was the youngest person by 20 years. I was 26 years old and everybody else was in their 40s and 50s. And I was like, the first thing I wanted to do to give myself an out was say, I'm too young. I also said I was too skinny. I didn't have weight to lose. I wasn't like, you know, wrinkles and needing facelifts or anything at that point. But you know what? I had a good friend call me out. She said, she goes, when are you going to stop making excuses and just go build it? And I was like, okay, I hear you. There's nothing about this journey that's going to be easy, but it will be worth it. And if you could just take me on your shoulder with you every day so I can say that to you, like bad day with the kids, you blew up, maybe stayed up too late doing host to post, and then you didn't get enough sleep, and then something didn't go right in the morning, and you blow up on your kids. been there, done that, might have done that this week. Like my almost 16-year-old, you guys, he literally thanks me on a weekly basis for working so hard. He literally says on a regular basis, like, when can I travel with you like that? He was 9 months old, you guys. And for years, I thought I ruined him. I was too focused on my career. Now my kids are quoting me. They use my like personal development and like, come on guys, pump you up techniques. They use those on me to get what they want. And you know, there's not one thing they're not missing. So you're doing it for this reason, but there's going to be so many other things that come alongside it that are going to be benefits as you move forward. Brandy, I'm really off track. I don't even know if I'm on track at all.
Oh my gosh, no, this is great. I think the real raw side of you is in this advice is what they need to hear, because we all go through these things. And so to hear you even saying that you experience those, I share with my team all the time. I had a family member tell my daughter that Mike and I are scammers for a living. We scam people for a living. My grandma the other day yelled at me and said, every time I see you, you're on your phone. And I'm like, Grandma, we work from our phones. People can't wrap their head around the fact that we don't go to an office and then we come home and we're off work, that our work is on our phone. And so I think just everything you're sharing is so powerful for them to hear. So no, you're perfectly on the right track.
And so can I also have permission to go a little further?
Absolutely. We're along for the ride.
So I'm just feeling this out a little bit, just feeling this out. I'm trying to see what you guys can handle right now. Somebody said the other day, because I was getting on a call at like 9 o'clock at night. And then I think I had another one at 9:40 or 9:30, 9:40, you know, like back to back to back. And they said, don't do that. They'll come to expect it. And I looked at them and I said, since when have you ever known going on a money run is about your rules and your guidelines? Like that's not what it's about. It's about being available to the people that need this when they're available. Now, listen, not everybody's going to go the distance, but this is a different group. Brandy already said she didn't invite everybody. Like, I'm not talking to the people that just want to make $300 to $500 extra every month. By the way, tell me what you're going for in the chat. If it's $300 to $500 extra every month, you're right. You can set some boundaries and you can have office hours. You know, whoever wrote the 4-hour work week, that's a load of BS. I'm just saying. It's not real. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. Like there is so much hustle in what we do, and it's not necessarily always on our time frame. Hi, Stephen Hutchin. I don't think I've ever met you, but I love that you got your camera on. You know, this is about us being available when others can work, because not everybody has our goals. Not everybody wants what we want. And I keep hearing Dave Ramsey say to me this morning, Cammie, you can have anything you want if you're willing to pay the price. Willing to pay the price. My question to you guys is, are you willing to pay the price? That's the question. Australia, Stephen, I love that. That's so cool. All right, Brandy, let's open it up. Let's see if people have questions. What's funny is I typically meet with Stephanie and Panya and Brandy and Vivian on Tuesdays. And they didn't want me today. They wanted somebody else. So I totally hooked it up for them, but they got me anyways. They didn't even know.
Perfect. Tracy Fisher has a question. If you had to start all over again, Cammie, what would you do differently knowing what you know today? What system would you absolutely embrace?
Great question. Number one, I would give it more time. I'd figure out how to give it more time. I'd figure out how to say, so you guys, when I adopted the yes philosophy, like just say yes. Like I'm trying to build my business right now. If somebody asks me to do something, yes, like I'll figure it out. Like, yes, you know, you need me on a call at 10:30 at night. My eyeballs are like sleeping at that time. Yes, I'll be there. You know, you want me at 6 a.m. before you go to work? Yes, I'll be there. You know, how about this weekend? We're doing an expo. Yes, never done one of those before, but I'll figure it out before then, you know, like become a yes person and find more time to give to this business. So that's number one. And number two, and let me just go back to that for a minute. And I love that question, but it's being a yes person. It's, you know, being available, having more time. But the other thing I would say is don't determine what you will and won't do. Just be willing to try all things, you know, because I'll never forget when I got the phone call that said we're doing parties. I was like, I'm not doing parties. I don't do parties. Like, nope, that's not what I signed up for. And that ended up being one of the things that absolutely transformed my business. Courtney Benson, I've heard a little bit about you lately. Good to see you. And so that was transformative. I'll never forget when we started doing expos, you know, like standing on your feet for 12 hours a day, being gone for the whole weekend, like wasn't what I thought I was signing up for, but absolutely took my business to that next level. So being willing to try all the things. And I even know how many of us have been belly to belly type builders. So this whole online world has been new for us, right? Even TikTok, how many of us have been like pushing against and resisting TikTok? It's not going anywhere. You know, so we got to get on board. I was watching my sweet best friend, Tiffany Pasek, put up some TikToks over this last week. And I'm just like, bless her heart, but she's embracing it. You know what I mean? Like she's embracing it, and there's going to be a demographic that she's speaking to. So that's just amazing. And then what system would I absolutely embrace? Genuinely the system of, and this isn't really a system, and this is why I think people are always looking for systems, is because they're looking how to erase the work that's required to build the relationship. But my number one system is always building the relationship. John Maxwell wrote a book called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And in that book, he talks about they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Like, you guys, there will never be a substitute for the relationship. And it's genuine. It's like, how are you? How are your kids? You know, like, kids are screaming in the background, like, it's fine. Like, we can either keep doing this or you can call me back when you feel better. Like, it really is. Do you know that my DT spouses called me on a regular basis to say, uh-oh, so-and-so's having a bad day. They need a call right now. And I'd be like, meh. You know, and they'd be like, how did you know? And it was because we were in partnership. We were in relationship with each other. And my leaders called me the friendly neighborhood stalker. And the reason they did that was because if we had a meeting, I was texting them all beforehand saying, this meeting starts in 20 minutes. You better have a guest there. I've had spouses tell me before that somebody was ignoring my phone call, and they were like, you know, if you ignore that, she's just going to keep calling you. You know, I would be like, that's a great nickname to have, as long as you can have it. I remember once my organization was so massive and people would say that on stage, I would feel terrible, because I was like, I don't think I'm stalking anybody these days, because I was just trying to keep my head afloat. But, you know, like, the people that you're working with, being in constant communication, super important.
That was good. And I think that's one thing that our team, I have to give you guys all some credit, is that our team is like one big family, and you guys hold each other accountable. You check in on each other. We send, I mean, not even me, it doesn't always come from me. I've seen you guys, when someone's going through something, rally together to send something to that person. Like, so all of you guys, you just, not only are you on the right team, but you guys do a really good job of keeping up that camaraderie, and that leads on to our distributors and our customers and all that. So I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is one thing we try to focus a lot on, is relationship building.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I keep hearing the question, like, system. The system is steps to success. Now, sometimes we can overcomplicate that by saying, you know, you need 100 enrollments, 70 customers. Like, no, you need to be consistent for 12 months out of a year by completing the steps to success. Now, there's going to be some months where you're getting more. There might be a few months where you fall short, but if you're being consistent over time, that should be an easy thing, no brainer. You're getting that done. But the system that's really going to take your business from being like average to a whole nother level will be determined by those relationships. Can people trust you? Like, are you there for them? Are you in their corner? Do you genuinely want to see them do well? Does that mean you're perfect? No. Guys, I'd be lying to you right now if I didn't tell you that Jared and I didn't just have a crucial conversation, phone call, heart to heart. What was that, Jared? 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? where he was pouring out his heart. I was pouring out mine. He didn't necessarily have answers. I didn't necessarily have answers, but we both committed to like, you know, doing some work on each of our end. And like this business isn't this beautiful, perfectly intact. It's messy. And when you do anything with people, it's messy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I think they're going to quote me after this call and be like, it's hard, but it's worth it. I didn't know that was going to be our theme tonight, but.
Well, I've heard you say before, I use this all the time, that people are the best part of this business, but they're also the worst part of this business.
Yes, 100%.
That's so true.
Yeah, I was super mad at someone yesterday because I put myself and my time out there and I don't have a lot of it. And they kind of like blew me off. And I was like, no, I don't do that. And then I was like, take your own advice, girl. Like, where's your humility? You know, that sounds a little too ego. You know, they had something come up that day. So give grace and yet stay on them. Don't let them fall to the wayside. You know what I mean? Want it more than you guys. Here's the deal. Stop waiting for someone to want it more than you do. That's not going to happen. You got to want it enough for yourself and for everybody else. And when you get somebody that wants it as bad as you, that's just a blessing. You know, like 16 years in this business, I still have yet to meet somebody that wants it as bad as I do. And there's a lot of pretty phenomenal people in this company, you know? So want it more than your people do. That's normal. That's the way it should be. You're transferring belief and you're like, holding them accountable, but hold them accountable through encouragement, empowerment, you know, like, and equip them, share everything you know with them, because you know what if they surpass you? Great, high-class problem, right? They're still under you. You still make a commission on everything they do.
Oh my gosh, yes, we want people to surpass us. We want our team to be winning that much. So, okay, what advice can you give? Maybe we'll wrap up after this because I know you have a schedule, but what advice can you give for people that are running hard for their rank? I'm going to give this 2 parts. Running really hard for that next rank. And then the second part to that is, and this is, we all go through this, when you have your recruiting, your team is growing, but then you have the people that just timing, they're not working as hard as you want them to. Maybe they're in the witness protection program and not responding back to you. What advice can you give them on that?
I was reading the chat and I missed the beginning of your question. I'm just being very honest.
No.
That question. I saw Brandy put her camera on and I was so excited. I was like, okay, I see you, Brandy.
Oh, she's talking to you, Brandy Jackson, not me, Brandy. That's so funny. My team knows that I do that. I'm like, what did I just say? All the time. They actually know to take notes during my Zooms and follow up with me after, like, hey, reminder, you launched this contest. What advice do you have for the people that are running hard for that rank? Yep. And maybe getting a little burnout or maybe getting a little discouraged? And then the second part was giving them advice for when maybe people on your team aren't working as hard as you want them to be, or people are kind of disappearing a little. They pop back up later, but you know, that can be really difficult when you're running that hard.
Totally can be. You guys, this is why you need personal development. Like, you need oxygen. I mean, my gosh, like, there's no shortcuts. You know, I don't care what you know today, 24 hours from now, you're going to be beat up, dragged down, punched. And it might not even have anything to do with the business. It might be life. You know, a family member might get sick. You might get sick. Something happens with a job or income, or maybe you guys, I'll never forget my first big check in It Works was like $700.12. And I was so flippin' floored about it. I couldn't even handle myself. Guess what happened? Within 24 hours, my furnace went out. My furnace in my house went out and it cost me like $690 to replace it. And I was like, the whole check is gone, you know? And you know what my stinker of a dad said? He said, well, thank goodness for It Works, or you wouldn't have it and you wouldn't be able to pay it. And I was like, oh, like, just let me be mad for a minute, you know? Things are going to constantly come at you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and unfortunately, how often. So your mindset and your ability to bounce back has to be almost your number one priority. You guys, for the first time ever in my life, for the last 2 years, the number one thing I do in the morning when I wake up is gratitude and my devotional. Like, and I was just thinking a little bit ago, like, I think I got calls till about midnight tonight, which means 4 hours of sleep, because I wake up about 4:30. I get out of bed, I do 10 push-ups just to kind of get my things going, you know, and then I jump right into my Bible chair. No, that's not true. I get my skinny brew. And then I jump right into my Bible chair and I start like reading the word, not even a devotional, like just the word. And I just read one chapter a day. And out of that one chapter, I focus on one verse that I feel like God is highlighting to me. And I kid you not, I don't know how anybody builds a business without faith. I don't know how they build a business without Jesus. I have zero idea, because when a personal development or a leadership book or a mentor can't tell me what I need to hear, then that's when Jesus steps in, and he does it like only he can. So the practical side of what do you do when you're not where you want to be, or the people on your team that aren't working as hard as they need to be, like number one, like that's normal and that's going to happen. Like, let's just break the bad news now. It's not going to look like this the whole way. It just doesn't. Not everybody that's with you today that you think is all in is still going to be here tomorrow, or even a week from now, or a month from now. But when you are so like good in your core, those things, I'm not saying they don't hurt. I'm saying that they don't rock you. And they should hurt. They should be disappointing. They should be hard. Like, you're human, feel that emotion, but also don't let it rock your core, you know? And the way you don't let it rock your core is to be doing that personal development. It's to, practically speaking, personal development, circle of influence, very important. Spiritually speaking, hold on to Jesus like you need oxygen, because he will take you higher than you could ever imagine. And you are going to need him every step of the way. So have you ever watched somebody in your life, let's just take this out of business completely, go through some hard things that you're just like, when's it going to stop, right? Like, there's so many hard things. Or maybe you were complaining about your own life and then you see their life and you're like, I'm not complaining anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just that stuff that you don't have an answer for. Those are the times where only Jesus is the answer. So practically speaking, we are doing the personal development. We are guarding the inner circle. We are doing the gratitude. But on the spiritual Jesus side, we pray that he can do it like only he can. Like, we pray that he does it like only he can, because I'm telling you, when he does do it and when he makes those impressions on us, they're so lasting. You never have to deal with that again. I'll never forget when I was battling for 2 years that I was a bad mom. I'm a bad mom. I work too much. Like, my kids are hurting because of this. Like, these are the thoughts like going through my head for like 2 years. And I would just pray, God, like, he just heard me saying all these horrible things about myself as a mom. And there was outside influencers saying that about me as well. So that's probably where that was coming from too. And I just kept praying, like, God, if you don't want me to do this anymore, like, like, I'm just not a Cindy mom, and I'm never going to be a Cindy mom, and help me break through this. And and I kept searching out. I sought out mentors. I sought out spiritual people that could speak into my life and tell me if they thought what I was doing was wrong, but it just kept taunting me. And then all of a sudden, I heard just this still small voice that said, did I ever ask you to be a Cindy mom? I asked you to be a Cami mom. And Landon, Colton, and Skylar need a Cami mom. And I have never battled with that again. Never. I've never wondered if my ambition is ruining my kids. I have never wondered if my pursuit of a career and being a mom can happen and coexist. 100% it can coexist. And Landon, Colton, and Skylar will never be who they're supposed to be if I'm not pursuing that part of who I am. So practically speaking, work as if it's up to you. Make sure you're protecting your inner circle. You get your butt to those trainings and on these calls. You make sure you're surrounding yourselves with all the right things. But on a spiritual side, you pray for breakthrough like only God can do. And I'm telling you, he will show up exactly at the right time. And it never ceases to amaze me that what he does too is so lasting.
Wow. Wow, that was amazing. And we all go through those emotions and feel that we're neglecting our spouse, or we're neglecting our kids, or we're doing all the things. And it's so hard to juggle all that. So thank you for being so real and raw with us.
Of course. I hope we get to do this again soon sometime.
Yes, we definitely need to do this again soon. I'm trying to watch a chat. I know Tracy threw something in there real quick. I don't know if you have a minute to answer it. And then Monica wanted to jump on real quick and just say something to you. Tracy said, what was your biggest business mistake and how did you, walk through it and overcome it?
Biggest business mistake, Tracy. I almost wonder if I almost wonder if that has never been quite asked of me. It's funny how you get the same questions like all the time, but what is my biggest business mistake and how did I overcome it? I have like 18 things I want to say. How about that? So that's where you're getting the pause. He's like, nope, just one. Holy Spirit, help me get the one. I got so wrapped up into my number. I got so wrapped up. I was number one for like 6-7 years, top income earner. And when I found out I was number two, it likely killed me. And I didn't realize how much my identity was wrapped up into this business. So I think for you guys, woo, this one might make me cry. Like this is a real one for me. I was so mad at myself when I figured that out. I was like, when did that happen? But I would say to you, like, it might not be the fact that you aren't the number one income earner. So like, how can I relate? I'm not number one. Yeah, but you might have the title of Ruby. You might have the title of Diamond. You might have the title of Triple or an income number of 20,000. Like whatever that thing is for you, when your identity is falsely placed in that number, don't be surprised when it gets stripped from you so that you can stand on your own 2 feet as who you are. And don't ever forget you are a daughter and a son of the King. And that is your identity. You are righteous, you are holy, you are worthy. This business is something we get to do beside, like the fact that this is what I get to do to make an income, like blows my mind. And if any of you are athletes here, I will tell you a phenomenal book. It'll hit with you. It's called The Anatomy of Winning. And, the fact that when you do what the world needs, the world pays you for it. That's what it works as to me. So, it was a hard lesson to learn. I had gotten my identity, my accolades, Attagirls, all wrapped up into this business. And when I got knocked out of that number one spot, I felt like I was nothing and worthless. And the minute I realized that, I was just like, oh my gosh, when did that happen? And you guys, it's so easy because God did wire many of us to want the appreciation and the love and that's a God hardwiring thing, but there's only one person that's meant to fill it. And what's really cool is he'll provide other spaces to fulfill that for us. So don't let your ego take you out of this game. Don't let your ego put you in competition with someone rather than you guys are just completing each other and pushing each other. Don't let your ego keep you from cheering someone on that's winning when you're not. That's probably what that is, Tracy.
Wow. That was so good. Thank you.
I've never been asked that question before.
I mean, leave it to our team to ask you the question you've never been asked before. I love it. Thank you for being so open and honest and raw with us tonight. That's what we need. That's what our team is all about. So this was perfect. This was everything I wanted it to be. Let's do this. Monica, I know you wanted to unmute and say something. And then what we'll do is as we close out, you guys know I like to do this when we have special guests. When Monica's done, as we're saying goodbye to Cammie, if you guys all want to unmute and just say goodbye to her, even not individually, but I'll just unmute and shout goodbye to Cammie and thank her. We'll close out that way.
Hi, Cammie. I just wanted to tell you, I've talked to Brandy about this a couple of times, but the Black Excellence series with Rachel has been a game changer. I didn't realize how much I needed that. I've talked to Brandy a couple of times and I joined Brandy at a time where our team was something else. Just thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I wish I could take credit for that. That's all Rachel.
Yeah. Pass the message on to her because that was much needed. I didn't realize how much we needed that. And that has been a game changer.
What I would like to see is more. And, and I don't know that I ever could have, as me said, we need a Black Excellence call. I just, I sometimes think, am I saying it right? Is that okay to say? You know what I mean? I'm totally intimidated. But what I have appreciated about my relationship with Rachel, because when like the Andrew Floyd thing happened, I got some real hate messages, and it just kind of awakened me to things that I didn't realize that maybe I didn't know. And please don't get me wrong. Like, I know there's tough stuff out there, but Rachel and Breon have been somebody that I've been able to ask things that I feel completely ignorant about. And so Rachel, because of the communication path we've opened, Rachel's also willing to say to me, like, this is necessary. And I'll go, okay, let's do it. And so I really believe truly for this to take off in the way that we want it to, we need more than one a month. And we'll get there, but I'm so grateful and thankful to hear you say that.
That's beautiful. And you know, that's those relationships. We have some of that on our team where we are able to come to each other and have those conversations and open. Monica's someone, Bianca, there's some people that I can go to and we can have those conversations and be raw and real and understand each other better. So yes, thank you for that. All right, guys, go ahead and unmute. Let's wish Cammie out as she jumps off, and you guys can say whatever you want to say to her.
Thank you, Cammie. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cammie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh,
Bye.
I got a college Casey at that point. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Welcome to the class.